Okay, so it's already 2:18. So let's start our today's session. So at first, I would like to select one reporter and convener for today's class. After that, I'm going to start my today's session. So, all right. So today's convener. Shaun, can you hear me? Shaun Sarkar. His microphone is not activated yet. Shaun, can you hear me? Shaun?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Okay, Akash. Alamin Akash. Akash, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Akash, today you play role as reporter. Okay?
Sir,
Okay.
you select me as a sir last day.
That's why I'm selecting you as reporter. All of you have to perform this one. Okay, reporter and
Okay, sir.
convener
No problem.
by rotation. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And today's convener. Ananya, can you hear me? Ananya? Ananya is present here. Ananya is not present here. Okay, Sadiq Samin, can you hear me? Kondokar Sadiq Hassan.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Samin.
sir. I
Samin,
hear
you are
you.
the convener for today's class. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
Samin, carry on.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are well, sir, and all the friends. Almost 70 participants joined the class, and the sir, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sir, yesterday before class, maybe lab class, sir, you don't have, upload video learn with Rakib YouTube channel, sir. So I missed this, and
No,
15 minutes.
first you carry on your job. Like you have to welcome the class, then you have to invite the reporter. Then
Oh,
in the
sorry, sir. Sorry,
question
sir.
answer session, in the question answer section, you can ask me the question. All right. Okay.
Okay,
Carry
sir.
on.
Sorry, sir. I request Alamin Akash to today's job his reporter, the last class, the summary of the last class. Please, Alamin Akash.
Well, thank you, Sadiq Samin. Hello, everyone. We guys are on a online class that is called CSE 103. The last class was about sir teaches us the input and output devices smoothly, and he also described it very in details. And the output device like sound box and sound box, keyboard and others, and he also described some of the computer parts also, and he also indicates us that today we have a online quiz exam. Yes, today we have also a online quiz exam, and he also uploaded the 1.2 class on the Google Classroom, and I think you guys read that also. So hello, so guys, hope for the best, and if you have any question, you can ask me or the teacher. Thank you, everyone.
Do you have any question?
Any question, anyone, regarding the previous lecture or any other issue?
Hello, sir. Here Alamin Akash is speaking. I have a question.
Please.
What is the difference between microprocessor and microcontroller?
Okay, so microcontroller and microprocessor, there is difference in between these two. Like you know about the okay, in today's class we're going to discuss about the microprocessor. Like microprocessor on a transistor, on a silicon chip, you will get number of transistor over there, and it can play role as the brain of the computer. Okay. On the other hand, microcontroller basically in different field we basically use microcontroller. That may, for an example, like to control something. Suppose nowadays we are using some sensor to detect the water level inside our like tank, okay, water tank, okay, at our home. So that device, we basically insert a microcontroller over there, okay, and that device can detect, okay, what is the level of the water, and automatically it can stop your monitor, okay, or automatically it can stop sorry, not monitor, your motor. Automatically it can stop your motor, okay. That is the thing. So in these cases we are basically using a microcontroller, okay, for to perform this type of task. And you will get detailed explanation in your microcontroller subject, okay, about this microcontroller. And in detail you are going to learn about what we have inside, what is the architecture of microcontroller, okay. Then we have different models of microcontroller, okay. In our lab class you are going to see some live demonstration, how it's look like, okay, what is the formation, the architecture of the microcontroller, okay. We have microcontroller lab actually, okay. In our university we have microcontroller lab. Inside the microcontroller lab you are going to get some other idea or advanced level idea, but these are the very basic thing I'm talking about. All right, Akash.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Alamin Akash. Good job for your briefing.
Sadiq,
And
you have one question, isn't it?
yes, sir.
ahead.
I course you, sir. My question is, sir, day after before the lab class not upload in YouTube channel.
Yes. So I was busy a little bit about some other issue, so I couldn't upload. But within today, I'm going to upload all the slides. Okay, lab and theory as well. Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right.
Now I'd like to.
Question do you have?
Sir, I have an issue, sir.
Please.
Actually, sir, it's something odd. Sir, if I lost my internet connection just before the attendance, sir, am I going to get attendance in the class?
You are going to get the attendance. Just immediately send me an SMS. Okay, in my mobile number. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right, immediately. Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other issue? Okay.
Any
I think
question?
not. I think not. So Samin, carry on.
So I'd like to request our honorable teacher, Rakibul Hassan. So sir, please continue our today's session.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's start our today's session. I'm going to share my slide at first. Let me know whether this one is visible on your screen or not. So in our previous class, I basically show you what we have in the front side and what we have in the back side of our computer casing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in today's class, I'm going to show you what we have inside the computer casing or computer case, chassis or tower. So I think this slide is visible on your screen, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So before we start this one, I would like to show you what are the exercises we have in the first part of this chapter. So these are the questions we have, okay, from the first part of our chapter, of our second chapter. So like, what is computer case? Okay, discuss the size of computer case. Like, we have different types of computer case according to their size, vertical tower and flat desktop. You have to describe about them. Then describe the layout and major component of computer case. Then prepare a list of component of computer case. What is computer monitor? Then discuss different types of computer monitor. Or from here, I might give you question like this. Differentiate in between CRT and LCD monitor. Or write down 3 advantages of CRT and 3 advantages of LCD. So this type of question you might get. Then I might also tell you that write down a short note on mouse. Okay, write down short note on mouse. Short note means basically what? You have to write down all the things regarding mouse, but very briefly. Okay, so like what is mouse? What are the classification we have? Then what are the alternative of mouse we have? Okay, so this is the short note. Then power supply unit. Then what do you mean by serial and parallel port? Okay, what is serial port and what is parallel port? Then write short description of different peripheral device. Or I might ask you that, okay, write down description about 3 peripherals. Peripheral means actually what? All kinds of input output device. So in our previous classes we discussed about printer, scanner, microphone, then speaker, okay, joystick, okay, different types of peripheral we discussed. So out of those peripherals you can discuss any 3. All right, so these are the exercises we have. So go through at your home. And some analytical question we have again. So you already know that you are not going to get direct answer. Okay, what you have to do, you have to read the question, you have to understand the question, and then you write down the answer. These are actually, you can say, like creative question. Okay, right. So go through all the questions at your home, okay, and let me know in your next class, do you have any problem or not? Okay. Okay, so this is your home task. Please go through this one, okay, at your home, and let me know if you have any question, if you have any issue regarding this questions or not. So let's move to the second part of this chapter. So in the second part, we have what we have inside the computer casing. Those hardwares they basically mentioned here. So first of all, which one? We have motherboard. Okay, inside the computer casing we have a motherboard. So here you will get some short description, okay, regarding the motherboard. Tanvir, can you hear me? Tanvir,
Yes, sir.
Tanvir,
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Read it, Tanvir.
Okay, sir. Motherboard known as the main board, system board, planner board, or logic board. Main printed circuit board, PCB, found in computers and other expandable systems. Motherboard often includes sound cards, video cards, network cards, hard drive, or other forms of persistent storage. TV Turner cards providing extra USB or the fireware slots and a variety of other custom components. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, very good. Thank you. So motherboard, you can see they basically mention we can call this motherboard by using different names. So first of all, you can call it main board, you can call it system board, you can call it planner board, or you can call it logic board. Okay, you can call this circuit by using different name. Okay. So during the examination, if I ask you question, what is planner board? Okay, so don't be thundered. Okay, planner board and motherboard the same thing. Okay, you have to remember these different names. So main printed circuit board, this is called, in short, this is called PCB. Okay, again I can ask you this question, what is PCB in computer? PCB is printed circuit board. Okay, main printed circuit board found in computer and other expandable system. And inside them, I mean, we can attach these things with our motherboard like sound card, video card, network card, excuse me, hard drives, or other forms of persistent storage device, TV tuner cards, then cards providing extra USB or fireware slot, okay, and a variety of other custom components. That means whatever the component we have, okay, whatever the hardware we have, in the computer system directly or partially they are connected with this motherboard. That's why this is called main board of the computer. So let me show you the picture of the motherboard. So here you can see, okay, this is the picture, okay, of this motherboard, and it is a huge board, you can see. And here you can see different expansion slot we have. This is one expansion slot, okay, this is another expansion slot, okay. Number of expansion slots we have. Okay, we have RAM, okay, that is the thing. Then we have this is the one part of the computer motherboard, that's why they are not displaying the whole thing. Number of IC we have, okay. Then a number of connector we have, okay. In this side we have we can see the half portion of the CMOS battery, okay. So number of things we have, capacitor, okay, transistor, many things we have here, okay. Then here you will get your heat sink. Then under the heat sink you're going to get your microprocessor, computer microprocessor, okay. All right, so let me show you a real one, okay. I'm going to share a video with you. Let me know whether you can see the video or not. I'm going to show you the real motherboard. Okay, let me stop my sharing, then it will be visible. Okay, so can you guys see the video from my another account?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here, if I move my light. Okay, so now I think this one is visible to you. Okay, my motherboard. Okay, can you see the motherboard now from another account?
Yes, sir.
All right, so here you can see the motherboard. So this is the you can see the real motherboard I have attached, okay, inside my computer casing by using some screw. Okay, number of screw I have, okay. Through this screw, this motherboard basically connected with this computer casing. So here you can see a number of RAM slot, okay. These are the RAM slot I have, okay. Follow my fingers. This is the RAM slot I have here. Then some other connecting ports we have here, okay. Then we have number of expansion slot we have here, okay. Then you can see the CPU socket, okay. I basically move the heat sink and the cooling fan over this CPU socket, okay. Here is my CPU, and I can open this CPU like this, okay. This is the CPU socket, you can see here, okay, right, okay. CPU socket here I have. All right, then some other devices like CMOS battery I have here. You can see the CMOS battery. This is actually what? CMOS battery, okay. There is a lever. If I pull it like this, then it will come out from its slot, okay. That is the thing. So this is my CMOS battery here, okay. That is the CMOS battery I have. All right, CMOS battery. Then like some other IC I have also. Number of IC you can see in different places, okay. Different places I have number of IC. Then some expansion slot.
Lifetime of CMOS battery.
Okay, so you will get number of connecting slots, okay. You can see
Sir,
here.
lifetime of battery.
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
The lifetime of CMOS battery. How much lifetime have CMOS battery?
Okay, lifetime of CMOS battery, it basically depends the capacity, okay. But it will give you, I mean, long-term service. It will give you a very long-term service. Like it might also happen 2 or 3 years even, okay. After that you might change your CMOS battery, okay. That is the thing, right. These batteries are very powerful, all right? And you will get number of, ports, number of these wires coming out from the power supply unit, okay? And these wires basically supply electricity to your motherboard. Like think about this wire basically connected here, you can see, okay? It basically supply electricity here, okay? And number of places it basically connects, okay? Basically supply electricity in different places of this motherboard. So this is your PCB. Why it is called PCB? Because you will get printed circuit, okay? This is the printed circuit board, okay? And this is called main board, motherboard, okay? System unit, okay? You can call it in different name, okay? All right. Okay. So far, do you have any question regarding this motherboard? Okay, all right. So this is the very basic thing regarding the motherboard we learn about. Let's move to the next hardware. Can you see what is the next hardware?
Yes, sir.
What is the next one?
CPU or processor.
Okay, CPU or microprocessor. Deepanita, read it.
Central processing unit, also called the
Deepanita, can you hear me?
brain of the computer.
Yes, sir.
Can you please read it?
All right, sir. CPU or processor. Central processing unit, also called a processor or brain of the computer. Whenever you press a key, click the mouse or start an application, you are sending instructions to the CPU. The CPU fits into the motherboard CPU socket, which is covered by the heatsink. A processor's speed is measured in megahertz or millions of instructions per second, and gigahertz or billions of instructions per second. Intel and AMD are manufacturer of CPU. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now you have some idea about the CPU. So at first what they're saying, this is called Central Processing Unit. Or in short CPU. You can also call this one what? Processor, or you can call it microprocessor, or you can call it, this basically play a role as brain of your computer. Right. So that means by using your keyboard, when you press any key or click your mouse, okay, you are basically giving instruction to your computer, isn't it? So basically you are sending instruction to home. You are sending instruction to your CPU. Suppose I would like to open this application. I would like to close this application. I would like to do this thing. I would like to do that thing. Whatever the instruction you are giving by using your input devices, actually you are sending that instruction to your, at first to your computer brain or your microprocessor or simply processor. So the CPU fits into the motherboard's CPU socket. Okay, you already have idea what is CPU socket. Okay, I already show you. Okay, in my another account, maybe you can see the video, isn't it? Can you see the video from another account of mine?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you the CPU socket. Okay, this is called what? CPU socket. Okay, in this socket, what you have to do, we have to place our CPU. Okay, this is the CPU, this is the brain of your computer, and we have to place this one, okay, inside this CPU socket. This is the CPU socket, and here we have a cover and pin. Okay, through this cover and pin, we can attach this. We can attach this microprocessor inside this CPU socket. We can fix it here. Right.
Computer
a processor's speed is measured in megahertz or millions of instruction per second. Okay, so they are basically mentioning that we can measure the speed of your this microprocessor or CPU. Okay, this is the unit. You can see here megahertz. Okay, millions of instruction per second. So what does it mean million? Do you have any idea? Million means what? 1 million means how much?
10 lakhs, sir.
Right, very good. 10 lakhs. Okay, right.
1 million is 10 lakh.
But this one is not. This one is not basically advanced one. Okay, I mean those who are the old microprocessor, they basically perform in this rate. But whatever the advanced microprocessor we have, they can perform billions of operation nowadays. That's why now we can measure this microprocessor, the speed of the microprocessor in what? Gigahertz, not in megahertz. And nowadays, whatever the supercomputer we have to measure those computers speed, microprocessor speed in picohertz. Okay, it might be 10 to the power 12. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, like couple of billion it can instruction it can perform within a millisecond. Okay, not in second, within a millisecond. Okay, that is the thing. So now you have some idea. Okay, how speed you have. Okay, in your microprocessor. Okay, and suppose the microprocessor I am holding here, this one is basically 3.2 gigahertz speed. Okay, it's written over it. Okay, 3.06 gigahertz speed. That means it can perform this amount of operation or this amount of calculation within a second. Right? Okay, all right. Then the next point. Okay, they are basically telling that this is the manufacturer given here. Okay, like Intel. Okay, AMD. They are the manufacturer of CPU. Okay, they basically develop or they basically produce. They basically manufacture this microprocessor. Okay, right, for our computer. All right. So far, do you have any questions regarding this microprocessor? From my another account, can you see the microprocessor on my hand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this one is
Yes, sir.
developed by Intel. Okay, it's written over it. I think you cannot see it. Okay. This is basically very hazy. Okay. So this is basically over this device or over this hardware microprocessor is written. It's basically developed by Intel, and the speed of this microprocessor is 3.06 gigahertz. Okay, that is the thing. Right. Okay. So now let me show you the picture again. Okay, one picture, so that you will get some idea. Okay, so here you can see the picture right side of this slide. Okay, so this is the picture of your microprocessor. Okay, so I guess you do not have any question. Now let's move to the next one. So here you can see what? Power supply unit. Is that okay? Power supply unit. Can you see the power supply unit? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, power supply unit. All right. Dihan, can you read it? The power supply unit. Dihan. Rakibul Hassan Dihan. Can you hear me?
Actually, sir, and sir, give me some more.
We're not getting you. Okay, maybe Dihan has some internet issue. Okay, we cannot hear him clearly. Okay.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Dihan, I can hear you. Dihan, I can hear you.
Inside a computer, power supply unit. The power supply unit in a computer converts the power from the wall outlet to the type of power needed by the computer. It sent through cable to motherboard and other component. If you decide to open the computer case and take a look, make sure to unplug the computer first.
Okay, all right. Okay, right. So power supply unit. Okay. So let me show you parallelly. Let me show you the video as well, so that you will get some idea how it's look like, the actual one. Here you can see the picture, but this is the actual one. You can see here, isn't it? Okay. This is the follow my another account. This is actually what? The power supply unit, a small box we have inside the computer casing. Okay, and over it, it's written. You will get number of information over it. Okay, the model. Okay, then they are basically mentioning it can take 230 volt as input from the wall socket. How much we are getting? 220 in Bangladesh, we are getting 220 to 240 volt. Okay, the maximum range for this one is 230 volt. It's written here. Okay, AC current it can take. Okay, alternative current it can take from the wall socket. Okay, and then in this side it's written the output. It can give output plus 12 volt, plus 5 volt, plus 3.3 volt, minus 12 volt, plus 5 volt. Okay, that is the thing. So we already know that this device is nothing but actually what? This device is nothing but a converter. Okay, from the wall socket we are getting 220 volt, 230 volt or 240 volt, but we have some devices, we have some component inside the computer which need only 5 volts, which need only 12 volts. So if you supply that hardware 220 volt instead of 12 volt, then what will happen? It might burn that device, isn't it? Okay, that's why we need this power supply unit. This power supply unit basically ensure how much amount of electricity each and every component need. According to their need, according to their requirement, it is going to provide that amount of electricity to that specific hardware. Am I clear to you? So, and I mean, here you can see number of wires, okay, coming out, bunch of wire you can see here coming out from this power supply unit, okay, and it basically supplying, okay, electricity, whatever the hardwares we have, okay, it is basically supplying electricity to those hardwares. You can see a number of wires you can see here, okay, inside the computer casing. Okay, that is all the wires basically coming out from this computer power supply unit. Okay, all right. Okay, I think now you have some idea about this power supply unit. All right, and anything else to mention? Okay, right. And last point, the third point is important. Okay, here, if you decide to open the computer case and take a look, make sure to unplug the computer first. This precaution measure we have to take when we are going to open our computer casing. Okay, otherwise there is a, I mean, very good chance to get shock. Okay, electric shock. Okay, to avoid this shock, please unplug your power supply, your power cord from your wall socket. Okay, that is the thing. Then the next one is RAM. Can you see the RAM, the picture of RAM?
Yes, sir.
So right, this RAM basically we can the short form is RAM, the full form is random access memory. So now Nurul Afsar, can you please read the points written
Yes,
over
sir.
here, please? Afsar, carry on. Nurul Afsar, can you hear me?
So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please.
I already read it, but microphone.
Okay, carry on. Read it again.
Okay, sir. Random access memory. RAM is your system short-term memory. However, your computer function short stored the data in the RAM until it is needed. This short-term memory disappears when the computer is turned off. RAM is measured in megabytes or MB or gigabytes GB. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. Okay. So now I would like to show you a real RAM. Okay. Follow my another I mean account. Okay, from where you are going to get my video. Okay, as well. So I think all of you can see the RAM, isn't it? So this is the actual RAM I have here. Okay, I'm holding the actual RAM. Okay, here you can see. So this is actually DDR3. Okay, so here we have double layer. Okay, so double data part we have. That's why this is actually called DDR3 RAM. Okay, so both side. This is the single slot. Okay, in between these black covers. Okay, here you will get the single slot, but in the both side we can insert the data. That's why this is called DDR3 RAM. Okay. Nowadays we are basically using this one. We are not using DDR2 RAM.
Sir, please
The old version.
again repeat, sir. I can't hear.
Okay, okay. I'm repeating the thing again. What I'm saying, this is basically what we have different types of RAM. Okay. Nowadays, the old version was DDR2. Okay, but nowadays we are using what? DDR3
DDR
RAM. Okay.
3.
DDR3 means actually what? Double data rate. DDR. That means double data rate. So can you see the the thing basically mentioned here? Let me show it to you. Okay, so can you guys see it's written? I don't know whether you can see it or not. Maybe this one is very hazy. Might be hazy to you. It's written over here actually what? DDR.
Very hazy. I can't read it.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So here you can see maybe this one is a little bit larger and clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. DDR3. Okay, DDR3 RAM. That means double data. Okay. DD means double data rate. Okay. So it can basically store data two parts. Okay, single slot we have, but it can hold data in both sides. Okay, that's why it is calling. They are basically calling it double data rate. Okay, and what is this? This is basically nothing but your short-term memory. Okay, this RAM is called short-term memory.
Short-term memory.
Why they are called this one short-term memory? As because this RAM, if you switch off your computer, whatever the data you have inside the RAM, everything will be gone from your RAM. Okay, that's why this is called short-term memory. Okay. Or sometimes we can call it volatile memory. Okay, short-term memory, or we can call it volatile memory. In your slide, it's written RAM is your system's short-term memory. That means after switch off the computer, whatever the data you have inside the RAM, everything will be gone. Okay, all right. Then whenever your computer performs calculations, it temporarily store the data in the RAM unit it is needed. That means if you want to run any application in your computer, application means any software. Suppose you would like to open your web browser. If you want to play any game, if you want to do some calculation, if you need to open your calculator, okay, or if you want to listen a song, for that you need to open your media player. Whatever the task you'd like to perform, okay, whatever the application you'd like to run, at first you have to store those data or information or application from the hard disk to your RAM. This is the RAM. Okay, then your CPU, okay, this CPU, then this CPU will be able to access data or information from the RAM. Is it clear to you? This is the RAM and this is the CPU. You can see on my laptop.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? Your CPU directly access data from the RAM, but not from the hard disk. You understand? There is a limitation. Your CPU cannot directly communicate with the hard disk. It directly communicate with the what? Computer RAM. Okay.
RAM.
That's why whenever you want to open something from your hard disk, what you have to do? You have to take that specific data or information from the hard disk to your RAM. All right. Then your CPU will be able to access that data or information. Okay. That's why this is called primary memory as well. That's why this one is called actually what? The primary memory. RAM is called actually what? The primary memory. Okay, that is the thing. As because CPU, okay, directly work with the RAM. As because CPU directly work with your RAM, not with your hard disk. That's why hard disk is called secondary memory and RAM is called primary memory. So why CPU cannot connect with your directly connect with your hard disk? You will get much more explanation in your hardware course or the operating system course. I'm not going that much depth. Okay, just understand this is actually what primary memory. RAM is called primary memory as because CPU directly work with this RAM. Okay, right. And they are basically mentioning what this is short-term memory. Why? When computer is turned off, whatever the data you have inside this RAM, everything will be disappear. And we can measure this RAM by using the unit megabyte or gigabyte. But whatever the RAM we have nowadays, these are basically measured in gigabyte. Okay, GB, gigabyte, not in megabyte. Okay, that is the thing. So this one is basically 4 GB RAM. This one is 4 GB RAM. Okay, right. And I would like to show you the slot of RAM. Again, in the motherboard, you can see here is the RAM slot. This is the RAM slot. In this slot, we can insert our RAM. Okay. Suppose, let me show you. We have to place it like this. Okay. You have to place it like it. Okay. And if I press it, then automatically the two-side lock will be attached. Okay. That is the thing. By using this two-side lock, we can attach this RAM, okay, with our RAM slot. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, so I think now you have some idea about the RAM. All right. So let me show you the next one.
I have some question.
Please. If you have any question, then raise your hand. Please.
Sir, actually, I have sent a screenshot of the chat box. Sir, here it shows my manager. I have only 4 GB RAM in my computer, and it shows that it has been reserved 82%, and it has only 3.8 GB out of 3.1 GB out of 3.8. Sir, how much RAM should I keep space when I use a heavy software?
Okay, so basically this one is little bit advanced thing you are asking me. Like think about your Adobe Illustrator or Adobe After Effects. Okay, these type of softwares are very heavy software. Okay, it might be like 8 GB, 10 GB. Okay, and as I am saying that whenever you are going to run any software, what it is going to do, at first we have to take that software from the hard disk to RAM. Now you might tell me that, okay, so sir, my RAM size is 4. So how can I run that big software? Okay, like which size is 8 GB? Okay, so there is some advanced term like locality of reference. Locality of reference. Okay, your computer not transferring the whole software at a time. It is basically transferring part by part, which is basically necessary to your microprocessor to execute. Okay, that is the thing. So that is basically very advanced level, I mean, things you are asking me. In your operating system or in your hardware course, basically in your operating system course, you are going to learn about that thing. Okay, how basically your CPU work with your RAM, how basically you can insert a very big software, like your RAM size is 4, but you are inserting 8 GB, okay, RAM over there. There is a concept like virtual memory. There is a concept like virtual memory. Okay, we are also using that virtual memory concept as well. Okay, in these regards. Okay, that is the thing. Is that okay, Dihan? Dihan or what? Dihan.
Sir, didn't understand.
Dihan, can you hear me, Dihan?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
So is that okay with you?
No, sir, I didn't understand, sir. My question was how much RAM should I keep free when I use the...
How much RAM you should? How much RAM? Ask me the question again.
How much RAM should I keep free when I use the heavy software studio?
You do not have any control over the RAM. Okay, RAM basically work in a way that is called dynamic memory allocation. Okay, as a person, you do not have any control over the RAM. Okay, so RAM basically works in a manner that is called what? Dynamic memory allocation. Your CPU automatically allocate okay, which segment, which page of the RAM, okay, your computer is going to use. All right. And there is a term that is called actually push in or push out. Okay, there are different technical thing we have. So it is not, I mean, difficult to, it is not, I mean, possible to tell that during the running time or during the operational time how much memory we can make free from the RAM. Okay, it is not possible to say, but there is a thing that is, you can call me that, sir, what about my C drive? How much space I should keep free to operate my computer in a smoother manner? Okay, we have control over the hard disk, not in the RAM. You understand, Dihan?
Sir, I have understood.
Dihan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I have understood.
Okay, over the RAM, as a person, as a human being, you do not have any control. Okay, so your question might be like that, sir, during the operation time, okay, how much space from my C drive I should keep it free? Okay, they are basically usually we mention that 40% disk, okay, 40% disk space you have to make free from the C drive. Okay, C drive. If your C drive become full on that time, your computer might crash or your computer will not be able to perform its task in a proper manner. Okay, all right. All right, then let me show you the next one. Hard drive. Can you see the hard drive now? Hard disk of your computer. Okay, let me share the slide. Otherwise, you cannot see it. Okay, so now I think you can see the hard disk, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So who is going to read it? Hard disk? Anyone? Any volunteer? Do I have?
Sir, can I?
Sure. Okay, you already read one, Deepanita. So I'm going to give you a chance another day. Okay, not today. Okay.
All right, sir.
Right. All right. Okay. But I will have to select one girl. Okay. Okay, Dolon, can you read it? Dolon, can you hear me, Dolon? Dolon.
Maybe she has some network issues. She messaged me earlier.
Okay, all right. Then Ritu, can you read it?
Yes, sir.
Please carry on.
Hard drive. The hard drive on your computer is where the software is installed, and it's also where your documents and other files are stored. The hard drive is long-term storage, which means that data is still saved even if you turn the computer off or unplug it.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So this hardware basically called what? Long-term memory. This is long-term memory. Why it is called long-term memory? As because if you turn off your computer, still you are going to get whatever the data you have inside the hard disk when you turn it on again. Okay, that is the thing. That's why this is called long-term storage device. Okay, or it is called non-volatile memory space, or you can call it secondary storage device. Okay, long-term storage device, non-volatile memory storage device, or secondary memory storage device. Okay, so as I already mentioned, your CPU at first search, okay, data or information inside the RAM. When that data or information not available inside the RAM, then it will go inside your hard disk. Okay, that's why this is called secondary. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can hear.
Sorry, I had some internet issue, so that's why it's not basically working. So now, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. We
Yes,
can hear
sir.
you clearly.
Yes, sir.
All right. Basically, my broadband connection has gone. Now I am using my mobile data. Okay, right. Okay, all right. So as I'm mentioning here, what is hard drive? Okay. Basically, hard drive is called secondary storage device, or you can call it long-term storage device. Okay, and I already mentioned why they are called so. So inside this hard disk, okay, inside this hard disk, you are going to get number of, I mean, just inside this, under this plastic or metal shield, you will get number of disk. Okay, number of round shape disk. It basically look like your CD disk or DVD disk. Number of magnetic disk you are going to get under it. Okay, and they can spin, they can rotate in a very faster manner. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, and there is a, head. Okay, by using that head, okay, your computer basically able to understand what it is written inside that disk. Okay, so in this way, this is the basically a very basic structure. Okay, here you will get some circuit. Okay, some IC over there. Okay, this part, and here
5 minutes left, sir.
sorry, 5 minutes left. Okay, all right. So here we will get number of connector. Okay, you have to connect your this hard disk with your motherboard, as well as you have to connect with your hard disk with your power supply unit as well. Okay, that is the thing. We have two slots. One is for your to attach your motherboard with your motherboard with your hard disk. Another is for to connect your hard disk with your power supply unit. Okay, that is the thing. So
4 minutes left, sir.
all right, now you have some idea about this hard disk. Okay, so these are the main components we have inside the computer hard disk. Okay, that is the thing. So today we discuss about motherboard. The first one is motherboard. Then we discuss about the CPU, central processing unit, then power supply unit.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Network problem maybe, sir.
Sir, we can't hear you.
You guys cannot hear me. Can you hear me now? Hello?
No, sir. Network problem.
Sir.
Network problem. Okay, let me check my network again.
It's getting hazy, sir.
Okay, give me a moment, please. Okay, so can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now maybe it is a little bit clear, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right. As I'm telling that, in today's class we're going to learn about this. We already learned about this motherboard, CPU, RAM, and hard disk and power supply unit. Okay, power supply unit. Okay, these 5 components we learned. Okay, these are
Hard
the
disk.
5 main components we have inside the computer
Hard drive.
chassis. Okay, hard drive. Okay, these are the 5 components we learned about.
Yes, sir.
What are the hardware we have inside the computer chassis. So in our next class, we're going to learn about some other component, like we're going to learn about some network gear. Okay, like your modem, okay, router, and network NIC card or network interface card. Okay, this is only a few things left. So do you have any questions so far regarding these 5 components? Motherboard, power supply unit, CPU, RAM, and hard disk. So as a fresher, what you have to do, you have to understand. Okay, you have to, you have to understand what they can do, and you have to basically figure them out. Like what is the device name? Okay, by seeing that device, so that you can identify what it is called. Okay, is it RAM or is it microprocessor? Is it power supply unit? Is it motherboard? What is this? Okay, you have to identify these hardwares. You have to understand the basic work, okay, of the work inside the computer system. Okay, and you have to understand the very basic architecture of these computer devices. Okay, that's enough. You need not to understand in depth. In your operating system course, in your hardware course, you're going to learn about them very deep. In depth, you're going to learn about them. Okay. So, any questions so far, anyone? If you do not have any question, I would like to discuss about your quiz test. All right. Can you hear me? Quiz test.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I would like to take your quiz test at 7:30 p.m. Today, 7:30 p.m. So what I am going to do, I am going to share a link with you. Okay, and when you enter into that link, you are going to get your question paper, and there you will get a slot to write down your answer as well. Is that clear to you?
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and I'm going to give you maximum 15 to 20 minutes. You have to submit your document within that given time. So if you take more time, then you're going to, I'm not going to check your answer script. Am I clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So basically, I think all of you are connected with my Google Classroom. Okay, in the Google Classroom, I'm going to give your quiz test question at 7:30. I'm repeating, at 7:30, I'm going to give your question paper inside the Google Classroom. Okay, if you enter into the Google Classroom, on that time, you're going to get the question paper.
7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. Today, 7:30 p.m.
Today,
Right.
7:30 p.m. Okay, sir. Okay,
Right.
sir.
Let me share my slide again so that I can show you my Google Classroom where I'm going to give you the question paper. Can you guys see my browser, web browser?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here, if you go to the Google Classroom, okay, classwork, then
Yes, sir.
No, sir, not yet.
from here, I'm going
Yes,
to
sir.
create quiz assignment. Okay, quiz assignment, and here you will get basically what? Here you will get your question paper. Am I clear to you? Here you will get your quiz assignment question paper. Am I clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. And as I already mentioned, you're going to get multiple choice question or a short question or fill in the blank.
Can you repeat that one?
All right.
Sir, can you please repeat?
I'm telling that my voice is clear to you now. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me now? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We can.
I was telling that I'm going to give you multiple choice question,
Yes, sir.
blanks or short questions from chapter number 1.
1.
All right.
All right, sir.
All right. Sir.
Okay. Now I would like to take your attendance. Please give your attendance now. Deepanita.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nurul Afsar.
Yes.
Okay. Then Raidul Islam Saqib. Raidul Islam Saqib. All right. Then Shaun was present. Then Shifa.
Present, sir.
Then Shaju. Then Arif.
Present, sir.
Shritu.
Yes, sir.
Mashfi. I saw Mashfi. All right. Samin present. Sabbir Hassan. Sabbir Hassan also present. Anunna. Anunna also present. Tanvir. Tanvir present. Rimu. Rimu, are you present? Rimu.
Present, sir.
Rimu present. Dihan present. Shubho present. Alamin Akash present. Dhruvo, where is Dhruvo? Dhruvo, are you present? Dhruvo.
Yes, sir. He was present, sir.
He was present. All right. Sifat Anam. Sifat present.
Yes.
Raihan Mahamud. Raihan, are you present? Raihan.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Dolon present. Okay.
Present,
Najmus
sir.
Saqib. Najmus Saqib present. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, thank you for attending my today's class. Okay, I'm going to upload all the videos, and you have your quiz test at 7:30 p.m. All right. So see you tomorrow. Till then, have a nice day. Okay. Allah Hafiz everyone.
Allah Hafiz, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.